Hello, it's still January 28th, and this is the second video. I'm Jennifer Clough. Questions that I received over the last 3 months. I have a topic that I always cover in flute lessons, and that is how to practice long tones. And over the last 3 months, I received several questions where the person says, yes, I used to do long tones, but I got dizzy. Yes, I used to do long tones because my teacher really insisted upon it, but I don't really get what they're for. Yes, I've heard of long tones and I did them for a while, but I found them really boring. So I'd like to present the idea of changing the idea of long tones, the actual words, to pure tone. Pure tone is a tone that isn't rough, isn't airy, doesn't have blurry edges. One of the things that happens when someone has only learned flute in band or has self-taught themselves over a number of years, when they don't have good, clear tone, they don't notice it. They may notice it eventually, but because so many people sitting around them in band have a tone that sounds like this, they actually are used to that tone and they don't see anything wrong with it. I've even seen students who are 20 years old coming to university who have played that way for the last 10 years. And they play really complicated pieces. I don't know if I even have a complicated piece here on my music stand. But they play really complicated pieces and they do it with that tone. It's really difficult to get into university as a flute major if you have a tone that's all blurry and airy and breathy like that. When I ask them to start doing long tones every day for at least 20 minutes, and I demonstrate it for them, and then I check their work the following week, a lot of these people find the long tones look really boring on the page, and they just come in. I say, well, have you done your long tones? And they say, yeah. And I say, okay, start on low B and let's go down to low C. And they go like this. So they're still using the very airy, breathy tone, and they haven't quite twigged that the idea is a pure tone. Instead, they're just so bored, they just whip through the exercise just because I'm telling them to do it, but they don't really hear the difference. So, how do we get this information across? What is a pure tone and how do you do it? And of course, this would take 20 videos if I was to cover every single topic, which is why you need to listen to your own teacher and really ask questions of your own teacher and get a live demonstration. And it's especially much easier to get if you and your teacher play back and forth until you hear the difference in their tone. One of the most common mistakes is the person playing the long tones really short and really harsh, like I just demonstrated. They just don't get that the point is to have an improved tone every time they play and to make sure that the tone is improving. Another really common problem, it seems for about a third of people, is the word long stops them. Stops them from interpreting the exercise correctly. They think that long means hold the note as long as possible. So what they actually do is they play the note until they're completely out of air, and this creates tension, collapse of the air breathing mechanism, and for many people throat tension and mouth tension and jaw tension. So they're trying to hold the note impossibly long. They go like this. To see who can hold the note the longest. Okay, so those are two common misrepresentations of what a long tone is. The third mistake is that people only go for about, I don't know, 40 seconds And then they get bored and they go back to playing their pieces or their studies or their duets, and they abandon the exercise before any improvement has been heard. So I'd like to just show what a real long tone, I haven't warmed up yet today, so what a real long tone sounds like when it's improving. The instructions say, and this is from the Trevor Y. Tone book, that if it takes you 15 minutes to get the most glorious B natural you've ever played in your life, that's correct. So you don't just play a series of short B naturals, you play long enough to hear the quality of the note, improve it each time you repeat it, and don't do anything tense, don't do anything harshly, and make sure that the quality of the very first note you are playing improves, because you will eventually match every other note of the flute to the quality of the first note. So when I teach this, we work a long time on getting a beautiful B natural, and I'll cover that in future blog posts. One more point before I go. I once had a student who held their flute down at an angle, whereas they held their flutes, their head straight. And when they played a B natural, they could not get it to improve. Now, because I was standing across from them, I could see that the problem is that their mouth wasn't actually lined up with the splitting edge in the middle of the flute. So the very first step for a lot of people is looking in the mirror. So that they can be taking advantage of the fact that the best tone comes from when the airstream goes to the exact middle of the far splitting edge of the blowhole. So there's a hint to get you started. It's very dark here today in the rainforest. Sorry if it's a bit too dark. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, good luck with that. See you soon.